Thank you. Hello once again. I know in a couple of minutes we're going to have a great conversation about art. And even though the topic is not the Dominican Republic, it has a very strong Dominican connection. We have a big Dominican contingency led, of course, by our former U.S. ambassador to the Dominican Republic. And also by the Minister of Industry and Commerce and Small Businesses of the Dominican Republic, Ito Bisonó. And because our main speaker is Dominican, and we have so many Dominicans, I think I'm going to ask, I don't want to put you on the spot, Mr. Minister. Ministro, no quiero ponerlo en una situación complicada, pero me encantaría, sé que mañana vamos a tener una presentación suya, pero me encantaría si pudiéramos robarle un par de minutos para que nos deje unas palabras en nombre del gobierno de la República Dominicana. Gracias.
Buenas tardes, buen provecho. Y cuando a un político se le ofrece un micrófono, difícil que se niegue. Sí, bueno, Carlos dijo que mañana me toca decir algo, no lo voy a agobiar con las mismas palabras del crecimiento, de la estabilidad económica, social, política de la República Dominicana, de la alegría de nuestra gente para recibirlos cuando vayan allá. Hoy me voy a referir a la oportunidad que tenemos de ver lo que es el arte con otro dominicano como es Nader, que casualmente se para aquí, ahí, en la mesa, y para quien pido un aplauso por el trabajo que hace con el arte. Y le digo esto porque parte de lo que estamos desarrollando en República Dominicana es la economía naranja, que ha tenido un gran éxito en otros países como en Colombia, de la mano del presidente Duque, que también va a estar aquí mañana. En Colombia la economía naranja representa hoy día un 14% del PIB. Para República Dominicana el año pasado significó 1.086 millones de dólares en exportación y apenas comenzamos a trabajar con ella. Y ahí está la gastronomía, lo que tiene que ver con la pintura, con la moda, con el cine y con los servicios modernos. Entonces, dentro del segmento del arte, que además de crear empleo, de no tener barrera de género, de no tener barrera de edad, de ver en otros países y otros continentes lo que es hecho en República Dominicana, queremos invitarlo a ustedes que le den seguimiento y apoyar las iniciativas como la de Carlos, de unir en este momento también a toda América, y más ahora que hay un cambio de gobierno y que parece que los principales funcionarios va a haber una buena cuota de la Florida y que se le va a poner nueva atención y que nosotros solicitamos que haya una ciudadana de la Florida que vuelva a la República Dominicana como embajadora, como la embajadora Brescia. Así que es un placer, espero poder tenerlo mañana también con nosotros y discutir en ese momento cualquier pregunta porque vamos a tener un espacio. Muchas gracias, buen provecho.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce today Gary Nader, a renowned figure in the art world and visionary advocate for Latin American art. As the founder of Gary Nader Art Center in Miami, he has built one of the most significant private art collections and also very well recognized for owning the largest collection of works by Colombian master artist Fernando Botero, comprising of over 100 pieces. Through initiatives like the Nader Sculpture Park, which, by the way, congratulations on that, and the proposed Latin American Art Museum, he has blended art, business, and education to create cultural impact. Please join me in welcoming Gary Nader.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very excited to be here with you today.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you for having us here.
Yes, so we'll start. What makes Miami a unique hub for the art industry? And what is its economic impact?
Well, we've seen how Miami has grown lately. And we have to understand that Miami is a very young city. People try to compare us with New York or Chicago or LA. We're only 126 years old. Indeed. And those cities are 400 or 500 years old. So Miami has grown exponentially, physically, and upright. It's today the third largest city in the United States.
Correct.
And we have over 1,000 people moving here a day. But culture takes longer. People have to understand that create museums, to create culture, it takes much longer because a lot of people take it for granted, unfortunately. So, you know, I came here 40 years ago and nobody was collecting Latin American art. They didn't know who the artists were. There was no internet. There was only a few books. And Miami was completely lost when it came to arts because, you know,
Correct.
there was hardly anybody interested. So I thought, and I told my father then, that Miami was going to grow exponentially like it's growing now, and it will have to have some kind of culture to offer. And that's what I came here for. He told me, but, you know, you could go to New York or you could go to LA or even Paris. You've been very successful already at your young age because I worked since I was 12 years old. And I said, no, I want to grow with a city that grows with me. And that's what I witnessed here. And I can't complain. I mean, blessings to Miami, blessings to the people of Miami. This is a city that is like Dominican Republic, by the way, because he said about how people in Dominican Republic welcome people. This is a city that you come here and it doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your religion, sexual orientation, it doesn't matter anything. If you're a person that you came here to be a part of the community and work with the community and thrive, there's no better place in the world today, I promise you. This is the best city in the world. And I'm a witness of that, and my success. I raised my children here, my three beautiful children, my gorgeous wife. Wait until you see her.
She's beautiful.
And you know, I've been very grateful. Miami is a perfect city. Geographically, also, it's very well located. It's the capital of Latin America. But now we have people from Europe and Asia that want to be a part of Miami. There is, and I always say it, the best customer is the potential customer. And Miami is a potential customer for everybody.
I agree. And I remember when I first moved down here from New York, that was one of the things that was most difficult to get used to, which, you know, coming from New York and having incredible amounts of options at literally 24 hours a day. And then moving to Miami, there was really not much here in 2002. So that really was not a very long time ago.
Imagine 1983.
I remember Miami Beach and people playing dominoes outside their apartment buildings. So it's a very long time ago. And I remember one of like the icons of just realizing that culture was coming to Miami was the Adrian Arch Center. And we've come such a long way since then. Just wanted to talk a little bit about that impact, that economic impact that art has had in Miami in the last 20 years.
Well, you know very well, the most visited cities in the world, period, are cities that offer a cultural element.
Correct.
How many times you're going to go to the beach? How many times you're going to a club? I go to the beach and I go to the clubs and I go to the great restaurants. The first thing that somebody thinks of when they're going to travel, am I safe? Miami is a super safe city.
Correct.
Super safe. It's a big city. Things happen like everywhere else. Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to stay? We have the best restaurants in the world in Miami. Hotels, we still need a challenge in the hotel industry. We have amazing hotels in Miami Beach, and we're building some great hotels in Miami. And then cultural-wise, what are they going to offer me?
Correct.
And the best cities in the world, like Madrid, London, Paris, Chicago, New York, people come back because they have an amazing cultural program. I go to Europe 12, 15 times a year for that.
Sure.
And that tourism creates a lot of jobs. And, you know, I insist to the government and of Miami that La Industria Sin Chimenea, you know, the industry of tourism, which is our biggest industry here, should be sponsored with cultural events. And that's all we're trying to do. That's why I brought the Grammys. That's why I brought Fashion Week and that's why I built the space that we built. And that's why we built also last week, we opened a soft opening of a sculptural park.
Yes.
Which you're all invited.
Congratulations on that. It's beautiful.
And because I understand that Miami is a perfect place to be today. But we also have to offer a meaningful cultural program.
Sure. And I think we've come a long way.
Oh,
We've
yes,
made
we
a
have.
lot of
And
progress.
I insist, it's only 125 years old, 26 years old. I mean, and in the last 15 years, we have grow exponentially thanks to people that believe in Miami.
Correct. So switching it up a little bit, I wanted to talk about, art as one of the oldest asset classes, yet assessing the current and future value of the work of art continues to puzzle many. And I think that one of the most evident examples that we have, which just happened a few weeks ago, was the example of the banana, which is
That's bananas.
terrible.
Well,
but in
it's a
more
joke.
seriousness, how do you approach assessing art in a world where, now you have AI and you have so many different mediums, and art can mean a lot of things to many different people?
Listen, it's a safe haven because cities, countries, they go through stages. But if you buy a great piece of art, which means buying somebody that's already in museums, somebody that is already a known artist, you can sell all over the world. God forbid we have a problem in Miami, the real estate crashes. It happens 20 times.
Yes.
It could happen again. It will raise again. But art,
Hopefully not.
yeah, no, not in our lifetime. Art is a different asset class because you can sell it all over the world.
Correct.
You can pack it and ship it and sell it all over the world. And that's important because,
Sure.
and something really amazing happened for us. And that's prices are going the way they are. The internet.
Sure.
It's been amazing, important for us. And great economies that never bought art, contemporary or Latin American art, are buying it. China, Singapore, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Taiwan. I mean, and
Sure.
where they're going to put you once you have your boat or your plane, if you like those things, or your cars or your houses, what else is great to invest in? Art. And look at the example of Botero. I started buying Boteros 40 years ago when they're worth $40,000, $50,000. Now they're worth $5, $10, $15 million
Correct.
because he sells all over the world. Because it's an asset class that people, you hand a painting of Botero or you have a sculpture of Botero, you have a saving accounts there.
Correct.
And you can sell it all over the world. How many different stocks or, I don't know, investment you can, and at the time you can enjoy it and show off. That we love to
Very
show
important.
off.
Actually,
And that is the most important. You have to understand this. This is the most important value of the art. Is the intrinsic value of enjoying it. It's not. I mean, if it goes up in price, that we hope so, and you have a good investment that is always been proved that is even higher than the stock market and SP and 500 and those things that guys. I don't know anything about those things because I only invest in art.
very good investments, actually.
Well, it's proven that it's been a very good investment worldwide.
It has. Actually, we did a study with a data and analytics company, and Botero is actually the #1 selling Latin American artist at auction in the world.
That's correct. Not only Latin American. I have today been requested over 65 museum shows
Wow.
since he's passed away a year ago. And Arnett, which is a company that does all these kind of statistics, and the numbers don't lie. The
No.
auctions are public. Check that the sales increased for 40% almost in offer, demand
Botero?
for Botero, and sales.
Sure.
I had to stop selling Boteros because I can't replace them anymore. I can't replace them. I mean, he never did serigraphs. He didn't do lithographs
Yeah.
or etchings, which is very strange for a so well-known artist. So if you want to own a Botero, you have to own a painting, a sculpture, a drawing, or a watercolor, and that's it.
Correct.
And everybody wants in them. They're starting to disappear. And in the art world,
Wow.
if it is a scarcity,
I'm sure you're not going to let that happen.
raise the prices. No.
So in this
don't do
recent
Botero.
study that was done, actually, with regard to auction sales, for Latin American artists, there was an 88% increase from 2023 to the first half of 2024. In your view, what factors are driving this renewed interest, and how sustainable is that growth?
Very sustainable. You have to understand that most of these artists died many years ago. And there's more people, there's more money, and there's more interest. There are more museums. So the market grows, but the offering shrinks.
Sure.
And you know what that does to a product.
Sure.
And there's no more production. That's it. You know, it's gone. Whatever the artist produced in his lifetime, there's no more. And that's why, you know, and the interest in Latin America is not only in Latin America, it's worldwide. Today, there's not one important museum in the world that is not looking for Latin American art. And there's not one important gallery in the world that is not representing a Latin American artist. So that's huge for us.
It's huge, and I'm so proud to be Latin American.
We are. And I'm very proud that I try to keep promoting Latin American art. Listen, it's very simple. Fine art is Europe and probably the United States. We are not folk art, like they said. Our artists are so important, like Picasso, Matisse, or Chagall. And it's easily demonstrable because you cannot lie. The quality of art, you cannot lie. And you put the sample of the banana, that everybody knows that's a joke. And it's to cause attention. And he's a great artist, by the way. Huh? He's a provocateur, and he knows what he's doing. And he's very smart. He did it very well. I mean, a banana for $6 million, I applaud him, on the contrary, you know. And then you can eat it, good for you. But when it comes to serious art, when I was very young and started, you know, going to museums all over the world and reading about Latin American art, and there was nobody collecting Latin American. I said, wait a minute, why our artists are so well known in Europe are not known in the United States or even Latin America? So, you know, I moved to Paris, where Botero, Mata, and Lam lived, and Tamayo and Torres Garcia lived in Barcelona. I bought everything that I found and started bringing it to the United States. And people were looking at me like, who's this kid trying to scam me with a $150,000 painting?
And you were so young. Your first painting you bought when you were 12, no?
More or less, yes.
Yeah.
And I sold my first master when I was 16 or 17.
Incredible.
So those paintings today are worth $6, $7, $8 million. And they're still with the people that I sold them, most of them, and their grandchildren. That's all I am. I mean, I might be young, but I'm very older than half of you here, are buying art from us. So the interest is not only fashionable, it's stable.
That's great.
It keeps growing.
Yes, it sure does, and especially in Miami.
And another thing that I had to point, we didn't have the opportunity. I had the opportunity to grow on an art gallery, but most of my peers didn't know where an art gallery was or a museum. Our children and the children of our children grew where the grandparents or their parents being collectors. So they've been to museums, they've been to art fairs, they've been to, you know, auctions. So it's much easier for them to spend their parents' money also.
Indeed.
And it's not spending it.
Yeah.
It's actually investing.
It's an investment. That actually leads me to my last question. Well, if we have time, we might have a few minutes for one.
I'm here
more.
for you.
Thank you. How do you think collectors can effectively integrate art into their broader wealth and legacy planning?
It's extremely important. In New York today, the top collectors, the rule of thumb today is between 12 and 15% of your portfolio invest in art, because it has proven to be a very good investment.
Sure.
But you have to be careful. And this is what I tell my own children and the children of my friends and my own collectors. Don't follow those, you know, fashionable movement of art. Buy whatever you like. Get a consultant if you're going to invest really serious money, because you might make mistakes that you don't want to and get disappointed. Read a lot. Go to the museums. Go to the art fairs. But buy what you like. Don't follow the rules. Don't follow the auction houses. Don't follow anybody for your own taste. But do hire a consultant. It's important.
Very important.
They know things that we don't know. That the common, even collectors, the most important collectors in the world have consultants. Period. Because they work for their money. They have to take care of their businesses.
Yeah.
The consultant, what we do is that this is what we do every day. And so we have the information that you need to know.
Specifically focus on doing the research that needs to be done.
I mean, if you're going to build your house, you're not going to build it yourself. You hire an architect,
A wonderful
engineer. Same with art. If you're going to get serious in art, hire yourself a consultant and read a lot and look a lot at the art fairs. The museums are very important.
Thank you. Thank you. And then I do think we have just time for one more question, just kind of tying it in with the previous panel. Emerging technologies such as AI have caused unprecedented disruptions across many industries, and AI-generated art has sparked debate around creativity and authorship. How do you see AI and other technologies influencing artist practice and the art market?
When it comes to fine art, I don't think it's going to affect too much.
Okay.
It might affect the way that they fake them. There's a lot of fake art out there, especially important artists. Picasso, Lam, Mata, Botero. I mean, there are hundreds and thousands of fakes out there.
It's an entire industry.
Yeah, it's an entire industry. So, but an art piece is like a car or a house. It has to have a title. It has to have a provenance. And that's why you need to hire somebody that knows what they're doing when it comes to buy art. As important is what you buy is where you buy it from. It's called provenance in the art world.
Yes.
If the provenance is good, you will always have your money there. But coming to AI, I mean, you can try, but it's never going to be the same. I had offers of hundreds of millions of dollars for NFTs. I didn't see it. I mean, it's not the same thing that you have an original piece, that you have a piece that 20,000 people have. So why you want to have that when you can invest in something unique?
Certainly.
AI is going to be the same thing. I never invested in NFTs. I didn't put my money there. I didn't recommend my clients to do that.
Probably a very good idea.
So I wouldn't worry about AI when it comes to fine arts. It's not the same to look at the piece itself. That is the original one from that the artist meant for you to own, or
sure,
or the museum meant for you to see it, that created by a machine or a computer, or could be entertaining. Could be very entertaining, but I'll be careful.
In different mediums.
Yeah.
So lastly, we have 2 minutes. What new market trends do you anticipate in the next decade?
Listen, I'm very positive. We have a huge collection, and we only sell when we want to increase the collection. We don't need to sell for anything else, thank God. So I work very differently from other galleries. We own our own inventory. We don't represent artists in a manner that we take things on consignment. We don't do that. We think the art world needs, and the artist needs somebody to support them. So when I represent an artist, I buy the collection from them and then take my time to sell it. I don't tell you to do what I haven't done already. Every piece of art that we buy, I see it in my house. If I cannot see it in my house, I don't buy it. I don't touch it. So, people has respond like that. But in 10 years, the sky is the limit, especially with Latin American. From Chile to Mexico, Latin American artists are producing some of the best and most qualifying artists in the world. In music, in the art world, I mean, look what's happening.
Very exciting time.
It's a very exciting time. And with the internet and Miami helping, Art Basel has helped us a lot. The museums are helping us a lot because they're collecting Latin American art. I had a call recently from the government of Saudi Arabia. They want to do a Latin American week.
Ooh.
Because, how many people are we south of the border? 400 million? 500 million?
Yeah, I think 500 million.
They want them there. I mean, how are you going to attract people in Saudi Arabia if you don't have anything Latin there?
Sure.
Imagine a Latin American museum in Saudi Arabia. Wouldn't we run to see it?
I love that.
I will.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Gary. It was
Thank you. Pleasure.
wonderful to have you.
Take your children. Let me say this. Take your children. Involve your children in the art world. You won't regret it. In music, in fine arts, in architecture, in photography, dancing, is what I recommend everybody. You will create better human beings and people more compromised with your community.
I agree. I have a
100%.
I have a 15-year-old daughter, and I asked someone in the tech industry the other day, being a parent in this day and age is a bit difficult in just understanding what are the skills, what is it that you need to teach your children.
They will appreciate
aside
it.
from being good humans. And what she said, which of course I was already excited because she's a she a woman in the tech industry who's making a huge dent in the education and in the industry. And she said, teach them to be as humanly possible.
Beautifully.
So
Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow.